Welcome to the Conquer Your Life podcast. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Conquer Your Life podcast. I am your host, Janelle Montero, and today we are talking about navigating life with your inner compass. Yes, we all know how important it is when we are driving a car to have the right navigation, to have our GPS on, be able to just go in the direction that it tells us and, not have to think about it, right? But your inner compass is the opposite. You are in control. We've talked about this before about being in the driver's seat of your life. And if you think about the GPS analogy, are you living your life with someone else telling you the direction to go? Or are you actually listening to your own compass, your own GPS system, and learning how to navigate through your life that way and knowing which direction to go? Rather than living by what other people's standards are, what other people think you should be doing. And that includes loved ones and family, right? So today we're talking a little bit about how to tap into your inner compass and know how to lead yourself through the way of your own life. Okay. So your internal compass is an amazing thing. You can feel it pull you in all different directions, but we often don't listen to it. It's a great source of an energy field, if you will. You want to think about it as being the connection between you and life, you and the universe, you and other people. It really does help you reach out in all those ways. So if you're thinking about it in the terms of like fields, energy fields with others, right? Like we've heard the saying of, love at first sight or being immediately pulled to someone. You feel so connected to someone. You meet someone and you're like, she's instantly my friend. Like she's going to be my friend for life. And that's hard when we're adults, right? To find people like that. But when you do, it's because your energy is matched up. Same with the whole love at first sight thing. Like I was in my 20s when I met Steve, but when I opened that door, and we had been talking a little bit online, but when I opened that door and felt that connection, I knew our energies were matched. And I knew at that time I was going to marry this guy. And I did. I made him mine. I hunted him down. No. But for real, that is because our energies were matched at that time. And this also goes for situations where your energies aren't matched, right? There are times when we meet people and we're instantly repelled by them because they're just not on our same playing field, right? As a business owner, I've had to let employees go because our energies were not matched at the time. And I know that might sound crazy to some people, but I knew something was off and my gut told me something was off. And later on, I figured out, yes, things did happen for a reason. But my energy was the first instinct for me to know what was wrong in the situation, right? Before I had proof of what was wrong with the situation, I knew my energy was telling me different. My inner compass was telling me the truth. And when I leaned into that more and listened to it and just threw my hands in the air and said, okay, I'm going to listen to you all the way, then I was able to realize other things that had happened and validated my decision, basically. But we need to listen to that energy source, our power, our internal compass, our internal power. It is so powerful. And when you do that, you will be pulled in the right directions rather than the wrong ones. Okay. So trust your gut is another saying that I'm sure you've all heard before, right? Trust your gut instinct. Trust your gut. Did you know that scientists have actually proven that your gut transponds to your brain? not the other way around. Your brain does not transpond to your gut transponds to your brain, okay? Why do you think when we eat cleaner, when we eat more healthy, nourishing foods, we feel better? Our brains work better. We're more creative. We're more energetic. We're more aware. We're more sharp at work and in life, right? So, yes, it is a proven connection between the gut and the brain. Um, it's actually called the gut brain axis. And it's a whole communication system within our bodies and our central nervous system that really makes some magic. So I'm just going to make sure I don't mess it up here. I'm going to read this. The gut brain axis is a communication network that connects your central nervous system, so your brain and your spinal cord, through a complex system of nerves, hormones, and other biochemical signaling pathways. So they've actually scientists have discovered these two systems are so closely linked that the messages are exchanged between them. So the gut contains a vast nervous system known as the enteric nervous system. The enteric nervous system, also known as ENS. And that controls our digestion and plays a role in our mood and our hunger levels and our immune system. So there's so much that goes into play with this. And that's why our neurotransmitters like such as serotonin and whatnot will also known as the feel-good hormone, right, is associated with our feeling of happiness, right? This is why the gut is often referred to as the second brain, even though it really should be called the first brain because it transponds to the brain. So when you get that gut feeling, don't run away from it. That's the worst thing you can do is run away from it. Lean into it instead. Okay. And how we do that is through various ways. One of the ways is to slow the fuck down. We do not tap into our emotional state enough. And when we slow down in our life and begin to feel and actually just be and not do all the time, we can realize these energy surges, if you will, these pulls in different directions, our internal compass telling us and showing us ways that we should be going in our lives, right? So, ways to learn how to navigate your compass so it can guide you in the right direction is listening to what your inner compass is trying to tell you. Is it telling you yes? Is it telling you no? I'm sure we've said more often than not no to things when we should have said yes, and yes to things when we should have said no, right? We get them confused because we often let our brain lead the way rather than our compass, our gut lead the way. Okay. We all knew that ex-boyfriend that was bad for us, but yet we stayed in the relationship longer. We might have even dated another bad boyfriend that was wrong for us. We all have gone to, well, not all, but you may have gone to the fridge at midnight and grabbed that ice cream to emotionally eat. You knew that was wrong for you, but you didn't listen to your internal compass, right? And instead you blocked that message. You blocked that inner compass's emotions and led with your brain instead and went for the ice cream at midnight, right? So I'm sure you can think of a few times in situations that you knew you should have not have done them, but you did, or not have been in the situation, but you were in the situation, right? We learn from these experiences. Look at it that way. Don't beat yourself up over it. But if you can learn how to navigate better moving forward, then and let your internal compass guide you, then you will be much happier. Then understand that once you decide which direction you're trying to head in. So maybe you're trying to figure out, should I go to school for nursing? Should I, quit my job and do something else that I love better? Should I, move like I did, right? So when you're faced with a situation where you're trying to navigate it in your life, always think about what your future self would want, what your future self would do. Hi, Queens. I know you've been caught up in what everyone else needs. Not having enough time, not having enough energy, never mind passion and zest for life. But it's time to get off the roller coaster ride of results and start to see yourself again. Yes, I'm talking about the woman that you once lost and maybe even shoved her in the closet along with those skinny jeans that you long to wear again. But she's in there, and this time she's going to be better than before. Yes, I know you're swept up in the demands of life and you can't even understand where to go next or how you're going to get there. Well, I'm inviting you to let me walk alongside you in this journey and show you the way to true freedom and self-love. We'll embark on a lifelong transformation through fitness, nutrition, and self-development coaching for an overall lifestyle shift that will have you conquering your life in just 3 months' time. Apply for my Conquer Challenge today. There's no crazy launch date, so you don't have to start at a certain day. You can start when you're ready to fly. I can't wait to meet you on the other side. And I know you can't wait either. For example, when we decided to move to Florida, when we decided that Florida was truly calling us, we sat in that thought for over a year, right? We had a lot of time to think. When I think about it, COVID was a downtime for us. It was a slow down time. See, we slowed down so we could become clearer on what we really wanted. And when we did that and we sat in that thought of, in 5 years, if we're not there, how will we feel? Will we still be thinking about Florida, or will we be okay and let go of that thought and just live life as it is here? We could not let go of the thought. And if we had not said yes, in 5 or 10 years, we would have still been figuring out how we could get here, right? Like we would still be thinking about, we should have went to Florida. So we decided to listen to our internal compass and not really know how it was going to happen, but lean into it, right? And take slow steps in the direction of getting here. And one of those things was visiting the area that we were thinking about a few times and talking with people about it and looking up the schools and just kind of seeing, all right, well, housing market. And, we didn't even if the housing market was different, I think we still would have come because it was pulling us in that way. But that was definitely a helpful tip. 2 years after buying our home, we made decent money on it. So, but yeah, so think about yourself in that future situation. Would you be able to let that thought go of not going to school for nursing, for example? Or would you still be thinking about how to make it happen? If in 5 years you're still going to be saying to yourself, I still want to make it happen, and you can't let it go, then your internal compass is absolutely calling you for it. And the universe also aligned you for it as well. So think about that. How would your future self feel in the situation if you did it or if you didn't? All right. So that is one of the major things to really help you lean into your internal compass. Other ways to connect to your internal compass are connect with your values. What are your core values that represent you the most and what's important in your life? You can find these core value lists. Brene Brown has one online. But I found that when I was trying to figure this out 5 or so years ago, myself, what are my core values? I realized that mine weren't on the list. I needed to create my own because none of them were pulling me. So look at a core value list. There's some online, for example, with 50 to 100 different words like dedication, family, self-love, blah, 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 all these things, right? Look at it and start narrowing it down. You want to get to 2 to 3 of your top core values. When you have too many of them, it's not good. They merge together. They're not as important. You really have to narrow it down to 2 to 3 core values that really ring true for you and that you can live your life with those 2 to 3 core values always in the forefront. So anything that I do have to align with my core values. Otherwise, I'm going in the wrong direction, right? So think about that, your core values, and hold them dear and let them guide you in your decisions through your life. Okay. And don't be afraid, like I said, to create your own if they're not on the list, but that will help you get a good idea. All right. Another way to connect with your inner compass is to follow your passions. Your passions are basically your internal system pointing you to your purpose. Spend time exploring things that make you come alive, whether it be a hobby, an interest, even your career. Follow your passions so that they can lead you in that direction. So, what are things that light you up? And a good way to look at this is, what did you love when you were a child? A lot of the time, our childlike life aligns with who we are at our core when all the rest of the world didn't get into our playing field, right? So for me, I love connection. I love team building. I love leadership. I love stage. I love being in the limelight. I always used to dance in front of my family and friends. Like at every event we had, I put on a performance. Like that was me at my core when I was a child. And it still rings true today, right? So what I do in my life needs to have that type of purpose and passion alongside it. So I've lived that for many years in my competition life, and then bringing other people to stage and helping them light up in their confidence, and now leaning into the podcast and with all of you listeners, you beautiful listeners, and helping you explore what lights you up. So follow your passions. What are your passions? Do you even know anymore? But look back to what really lit you up as a child, and I guarantee there's some type of connection there that you can pull back in. Okay. Self-reflection is another way to connect with your inner compass. And this does coincide with your passions, because when you reflect upon your life and what brought you joy, and where you are now versus where you've been and where you want to go, you need to see the missing links. You need to find the missing links and find the connections. Okay. So self reflection allows you to identify what makes you happy, and will help you connect with your long term life goals and achievements. So, what do you want out of your life? What are you good at? What do you want to achieve? What have you accomplished already? Right? What have you accomplished already? Write these things down and reflect upon them. All the good accomplishments, all the challenges, all the goals you have and have had. So you can better understand your inner compass and help it guide you and gain confidence in the meantime. Okay. Trusting your intuition is another way, which is basically your gut instinct, right? It's your valuable guide to your inner compass. Listen to those gut feelings and instincts. I can't stress this enough. If there's ever a time where you're feeling like you don't know which way to go with a decision, get quiet, slow down, and listen, because it will tell you. It will lead you towards what feels right. But practicing mindfulness and deep breathing, hypno breath work, things like that, or somatic breath work, these are the type of things that will help you get quiet and get rid of the outside noise, so you can then hear your inner voice better. So you're getting quiet, but your inner voice gets louder. Does that make sense? So slow the fuck down. And then take action, right? Your inner compass means nothing if you don't act on what it's pulling you towards. So empower yourself to make decisions, take risks, and pursue your goals. Now, this doesn't need to be a big step, but you got to make some mini steps along the way to what feels right for you. If it is going back to school for something or studying something, begin the process of looking at what that might look like for you financially, time wise. application process, right? So start looking at the picture, how to get to the big picture rather than just like looking at the big picture. So even if you're not 100% sure of the direction that you want to take yet, and like you're still trying to lean into your inner compass, take small steps towards that goal, and that will help you discover your true path. So I hope that this podcast really helped you kind of open up your mind to the idea that you are your own GPS system. Stop letting other people or a GPS lead you, and listen to yourself. Listen to your inner guide. You are in complete control. Take the wheel, be confident, and just take a step in that direction. Until next time, guys, with strength, love, and light always. Don't forget to share this episode with someone you think might enjoy it. We appreciate all of the love on social media. Sharing is caring. I'll talk to you soon. Hey, Conquer crew. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Conquer Your Life podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone else who you think will enjoy it as well. And remember to subscribe so you don't miss out on all the future tips, tricks, and motivation to conquer your life. Also, if you would please leave a rating or review, I would be forever grateful, as it helps me know I'm providing you with value and inspires me to keep providing you with some free badass content. If you are on social media, don't forget to screenshot this episode and tag me at Janelle Montero and at Conquer Life Brands. I love engaging with all of you and sharing to my stories as well. Signing off until the next episode with strength, love, and light always.